Charles Demery covered the best wide receivers in the NFL as a cornerback during his fruitful 12-year career, which ended with the Chargers in 2000 due to injury, an injury that could have cost him a normal life.
It's one of those instances where you're coming in for a tackle, and before you get there, somebody hits the pile and you get hit before you're ready for the contact, and jammed my neck, and that's when I thought I had a stinger.
Charles and his team doctors thought he received what is commonly referred to in football as a burner or stinger, a minor injury to the nerve supply of the upper arm caused by contact to the neck or shoulder, prevalent in football from getting one's head hit down or sideways in contact, usually occurring with defensive players who tackle leading with their head, a type of illegal tackle called spear tackling. Stingers feel like an electric shock or burning sensation down the arm, but these symptoms only last for minutes. So when Charles experienced these symptoms after playing for more than 2 months, he realized it was something much worse.
So I continued to play, and after about 4 weeks I realized it was something more than a stinger. It was difficult to play. I no longer tackled anybody, and I would just cover people and I could never tackle. I would hit nobody. I purposely didn't hit anybody with my head. After the end of the season, we went in, and that's when Larry Dodge told me that I was pretty stupid to play because it was pretty bad, and I was one hit away from possibly being paralyzed, and so.
He was actually lucky in the sense that he didn't have a spinal cord injury. Worst case scenario is a paralysis. Discs are basically what cushions it protects the spinal cord, but also cushions the spine between the vertebra, and when there's too much pressure on it, it herniates. And he actually herniated a disc here within the area of the spinal cord, probably pinching on a nerve root, but that could also affect the cord too.
So how could a serious spinal injury be mistaken for something small like a stinger? The answer lies in the symptoms.
Stingers and disc herniation can present similarly. Stinger has unilateral symptoms, kind of arm numbness, tingling, kind of like a dead arm. Usually it's a temporary thing, unilateral, and usually goes away after 15 and 30 minutes.
This minimal symptom duration is key. If stinger-like symptoms last more than a day or two, chances are it's not a stinger. In addition, there's another symptom that should have alerted Charles and his staff that his injury was not a stinger.
You think it's a stinger when you get hit on your shoulder. You kind of feel the numbness in your hands and your arm. But whenever I would lift up my head, whenever I looked up, my arm would tingle and go numb, and my fingers would go numb.
When the symptoms persisted, and especially when he put his head back, and he had a kind of shooting pain and numbness down his arm, that should kind of alert you that it's a little bit more than a stinger.
Every time Charles looked up, the herniated disc in his neck would pinch his spinal cord and cause the pain and numbness in his arm. Parents, athletes, and coaches need to realize that any directional movement of the head that causes these symptoms may indicate a serious neck injury, and they should consult their doctor before playing. Because above all other injuries, neck injuries should be taken most seriously.
Any parents, athletes, and coaches should really watch out for any cervical spine or neck injuries because it's a very serious thing that involves your spinal cord, and should not be taken lightly.
You cannot mess around with that. That's your livelihood. That's life-threatening, or paralysis. It could change your life completely. You have a doctor take a look at that immediately.
According to Dr. Kim, we can work to prevent these injuries by practicing proper tackling techniques, not spear tackling, and by strengthening the muscles around the neck. This, combined with watching for signs of serious neck injury like prolonged symptoms and certain head positions that cause numbness and pain, will lessen the chance of permanent damage and misdiagnosis in the future. For Charles, he has to live with frequent pain and surgeries, but he's thankful that he lives to walk another day.